After 5 years of living under the Nazi rule, Petronella de Vries remembers the SS and the Gestapo in Rotterdam.
And I had a job at police headquarters in Rotterdam. And I was working there, but on the top floor of the prison or of the headquarters, the Germans were. Some Gestapo, some SS. Whenever young men tried to plan something and it was found out, they were taken prisoners and put there, and sometimes they were shot.
The people of Holland had suffered terrible hardships, and many were starving.
The Dutch railways struck, and the Germans retaliated by cutting the rations down further to about a third of what it had been before. So at that point, we were eating tulip bulbs and sugar beets.
The liberation was a great relief for the Dutch people, but the cost of helping them was very high.
Canadians gave up their life not because for acquisition of territory or for any other purpose other than to fight an evil power. In the Dutch mind, you know, for the Dutch people, there 7,000 Canadians died in that last year of the war in Holland alone.
When the students arrived, they visited the small town of Holten, where 1,400 Canadian soldiers died to help free the people in this area. At the Canadian cemetery, the students laid a wreath on behalf of all young Canadians. Afterwards, they spoke with some of the veterans in their group. Even 50 years later, they still remembered the horrors of war.
Well, I'd just like to find out, how do you feel being back here?
Sad. Sad. I just went by a grave over here, and my major was killed on the 1st of May. He's lying over there. The rest of his crew, a couple of them are over here. One was a signaller and one was a driver. They were blowing up with him. It's sad, but it's something you got to do. We owe it to them.
This is one of the places that I wanted to come back after the war. I was here 50 years ago. We came in here from when I was in Sicily, Italy, France, Belgium, Holland, and back to Germany. And from Germany we went across the river towards Apeldoorn. And I lost a lot of good friends here, and that's the reason that I came back.
The real tragedy of war can not only be measured by those who died, but by the words of wisdom from those who survived.
Of course it was tough, it was hard, and sometimes we cried for our mother. We would be very happy to go back home, you know. After 2 months in battle, your challenge has been met. But you carry on. And then you discover that there were people like the Dutch over here, kids. Perhaps the most motivating element to fight for me was when we liberated this area here. This was a wealthy country before the war. See, farming country, lots of milk, lots of eggs, lots of cheese, lots of happiness. And when we arrived here, the children were starving, bloated, their eyes popping out of their head. Women, kids your age, thin like this, nothing to eat. You've heard a story that they ate the bulbs of the tulips to survive. Well, this then gave us a reason for us to fight, to liberate them as soon as possible.
The students began to appreciate what the Canadians had done and why the Dutch are so grateful 50 years later.
If you had been 5 years under occupation, you would feel that way too. You don't know what it is when your freedom is taken away and you can't speak out, and then liberators come and give you the feeling back you have a country again, even if your country or your city is bombed out, you still get a very good feeling. And maybe it's in the Dutch mentality, but we don't forget.
Even Dutch children showed their appreciation of what the Canadians did. Each child looks after a Canadian soldier's grave all year round, even on Christmas Day.
This ceremony really touched me when the bagpipes started playing and they played Amazing Grace. It just sounded so amazing, and just the care that the Holland children went through to learn our national anthem, and just the fact that they put flowers on our graves, and they do that every year. It's like really amazing that they care about us that much.
Nobody around can imagine what the veterans went through. It's just unbelievable. But it's true that we gained grandfathers. Just last night I played ping pong with a veteran for an hour and a half, and it was just amazing. Veterans are just amazing to talk to, and they're fun to be with, and they share their stories, and they put everything in perspective and make you understand more about the world, about the war, and more about yourself.